Welcome everybody, Chodesh Tov. Very, very, very intense month, Chodesh Av. I don't know if you already feel it.
Yes, I did. Very much.
But it's very intense energy, very, very powerful month. And I always like to teach it also from the women aspect, because we are very, very powerful. And there's so much that we can actually do as women. Our power is so beautiful. We get things much faster than men. And when we join together, we really make a difference. So I'm not blind. I see what's happening in the world. Not only that, I can tell you that our enemies don't think that this war is physical. This is a completely spiritual war. And they have their own Amalekim that calculates our Jewish calendar, just like Haman. Again, look at it. Where was Haman? Where? What country? What was Persia? What is it today? Same story, we meet again. But in that time, Haman was the reincarnation of Haman HaAgagi, that's his last name. We talked about it in the month of Adar a little bit. He was the reincarnation of the king Agag, that King Shaul was commanded to kill him and everyone else. He won the war, but he spared the animals, he spared the king. I don't want to go into the whole story, but bottom line, he had a chance to destroy Amalek, and unfortunately, we're paying for that mistake until today. Many years later, Haman is the reincarnation of the same king Agag, and Mordechai is the reincarnation of King Shaul, and they meet again. And in that time, he also had, of course, Esther to help. Esther, just so you know, is the reincarnation of Sarah Imenu. That's why Sarah, the Torah talks with us. This month is all about listening and seeing in the right way. So Sarah lived until the age of 127, and Esther ruled over 127 countries. So the Torah and the Tanakh are kind of planting seeds for us that if you just look a little deeper, you'll get it. So King Shaul got another big help from Sarah Imenu. By the way, she was the reincarnation of Chava. We're going to talk about Chava. Unfortunately, Chava, she listened to the snake, right? And she saw the tree. I'm repeating that two elements because these two elements are very, very powerful this month. The Reya and Shmi'ah. Okay? So we as women are all a little Sarah or a little Chava or a big Sarah or a big Chava. This month is all about the Leo, everything is big. And we actually have to learn this month to sometimes lema'et et atzmenu, to make ourselves, it's not ourselves, we are light. It's our ego. It's just to shrink the ego a little bit so we can really see what's going on. With that, I'm gonna jump in. So this is the 5th month from counting from Nisan. So according to Tanakh, to the Torah, it's the 5th month, the month of Av. And Tammuz and Av are related, not for no reason. We start the Yud Zayin Tammuz, the 17th of Tammuz, with the fast, and we finish it in the 9th of Av. The month of Tammuz is like this, it's like connected to the Levana, the moon, and the cycle of the women. And Av is to the sun, that's more like the father. That's why it's called also Av. And we know that we add Menachem Av, that it comforts us, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So this could have been the best month in the year. Now I want to go to a parallel universe with all of you, and let's think about it. What was the Yud Zayin Tammuz? It was the day that Moshe went down from the mountain with the 2 first tablets, right? Everything was perfect. This was direct light from Hashem. And he comes down. And imagine that we were all very patient. We would wait. What will happen? Heaven on earth, right? Mashiach will come. got the Torah, everything's perfect. What is Tammuz? What is Av? The most beautiful month in the year, right? Just celebrations and celebrations. What happened? We couldn't wait, right? We always have that moment that we're almost there, we were almost ready, and something that we kind of, was it a doubt? Was it a fear? Was it Yetzer Hara? Was it all of it together? And we blow it. So that was the 17th of Tammuz. What happened in Tet B'Av? Tet B'Av, the 9th of Av, was the day that the spies came back, right? They went from Kaftet Sivan, all the way 40 days till the 9th of Av. They came back. They could have said what? That the country is good, that this is the promised land, the land of milk and honey. What would happen? The whole nation would go inside Israel. Mashiach comes, end of story. Beautiful month, right? What happened? We blow it again. So we need to understand that we have a big responsibility in every moment of our lives. It's very easy to blame other people. It's very easy to blame even other nations. But everything that is happening, we have something in it. We did something that caused such a big change in the energy. Those, especially 3 weeks of Bein HaMetzarim, were supposed to be the most positive, beautiful, happy weeks in the whole year. In fact, the Zohar says that it's a concept of energy, of divine light that was created in the days of creation on Bereshit, that's called Ha'or HaGanuz, the hidden light. That was the light that Hashem concealed in those 3 weeks for us, that in the right moment with Mashiach we will find it and everything would be heaven on earth. So what happened, right? It was us. He gave us a very, very, very high energy in that, time, and we kind of turned it into judgments. So that's what we're dealing with now, and this is what we need to correct. It's not permanent, but it's in our own hands. Just like we did something that made it into judgment, now we have to also help to turn it into mercy. And women have a big job in that. We can do it. So basically that's what I said. So we turned the mighty holy energy into judgments. Is the energy still there? Yes, it is. It just, the light doesn't really change. It's just the way that it reflects in our own world. Okay, it's still in a way that we can shift it to be in a reveal of mighty holy energy. The tzaruf of the chodesh, the combination of the month, every month has, according to the Bnei Yisachar, also the other places, a different combination of how the divine energy of Hashem comes to the world. In this month is like this, and it's always from a pasuk from the Tanakh. And this one is Hasket Ushma. Okay, the listening is repeating Yisrael Hayom. And by the way, Shema Yisrael, we'll talk about it also a little later, is connected to the Tikkun. Okay, so Hasket Ushma Yisrael Hayom, listen. And Hasket is more like, not just listen, it's like observe, like be more like aware and listen Israel today. The rest of the sentences from the book of Dvarim that we just started is that you become a nation today. Okay, you become a nation, you have responsibility. The tribe of the month is Shimon. And what did Shimon, what did Leah say in the Torah when she gave birth to Shimon? Ki, again, Shama. Listen, Shama, Hashem kisnu'a ani, vayiten li gam et ze v'tikra shmo Shimon. So Hashem heard that I'm not the loved, wife. So he heard me and he gave me this son too, and she called his name Shimon. So Shimon is not just a tribe. Shimon represents Shmi'ah, listening. And the sign of a month, Aryeh, if you flip the letters, it's Re'iyah, seeing. Okay? All those things are codes for us that we shouldn't ignore and move on. I just talked about it, that Kaftet Sivan is when they the Meraglim, the spies, left to visit Israel. In the 9 of Av, they came back. Well, what did they do? Again, they went to see the land. They were supposed to see it with good eyes, but they had agenda there. They wanted to stay the leaders in the desert. They didn't want the people to go inside Israel. They thought, oh, they wouldn't need us, so we're going to lie. So they hurt again the sense of seeing, and they said Lashon Hara, Dibat Haaretz, lies about the land of Israel, and the nation listened, so they made the scene again to everyone that listened of damaging the sense of hearing too. Now Chava, we talked about her. Chava listened to the snake, right? And she saw the tree and she listened to the snake. And since then we are trying to correct that. And that was a chance. Why did Moshe send them on that, like to come back on that day? What, did he want them to fail? No. Moshe really thought that they're going to go into Israel. They're going to be in that. He chose the heads of the tribes, right? If they're the heads of the tribes, they should know what they're doing. But their ego took over them, as it happens, unfortunately, the best of us. And they came back listening to the snake, and again, damaging those two senses for us. So we have an opportunity to correct our spiritual hearing this month. I'm not leaving you here just with the bad stuff. I am giving you the tools. I want to tell you that even though this is considered a negative time, there is a shift later on in the month. And today is the Hilula of Aharon HaKohen. So always when there's something negative, Hashem puts like stations of light for us to connect to. So today when we light candles for Rosh Chodesh, also you light it, and you can light a candle for Aharon HaTzadik, Aharon HaKohen, that his life was dedicated to Chesed. So even though there's so much energy of judgment, look who's Hilula is today. The man that really was all about mercy. So we connect to him, he helps us too, and helps all of Israel. Another thing, on the 5th of Av, it's the Hilula of the Ari. Ari Zal, very, very holy rabbi that lived, the Kabbalist that lived in Tzfat, the city of Tzfat in Israel in the 15th century. Changed the way we learn even, the Zohar today, everything. So again, it's a kind of like another station of light for us to get fresh air in the heaviness of especially the beginning of this month until, not just the 9, actually, until the 9 is the worst, but like the 15. Okay, there's still... so what can we do? What can we do? These are very useful, advices that if you want to listen to me, great. If not, it's your choice. But we are in a month of a lot of ego. The last thing we want to do this month is to listen to someone. Really. We're impatient. Do you feel it already? We're hot, right? We are so anxious of everything that's happening in Israel. We don't want to listen to anyone. Well, guess what? Hashem thought that's going to be your correction this month. And we have to do it. And if the women won't do it, who's going to do it, right? We can't count on the men to do it for us. So, fight the natural urge to be heard, because the Leo, the Aryeh, is a very big leader. This month actually gives us power to be a leader in our own life. But the leader doesn't want to hear a lot of times everyone else. And if you know a Leo, they're very charming, they're very generous, but they also feel that two things. The world is a stage, right? And they are the main character. And the second one is that I know best for everyone and I don't want to listen to anyone else. It's okay. Because you're spiritual. Because you're spiritual. Now,
אני יודעת, את לא אוהבת הרעיות.
לא, אני אוהבת מאוד הרעיות. Now, wait, we'll talk about it.
מסכנה.
לא. So listen, we are all now Leo. Don't get me wrong. It's not just your sign. When this month enters, we all become Leo. So whatever Leo already knows to handle, we wouldn't know maybe. So for us, it's not going to be natural. The good things we need to take from this month is how to be a leader of your life, how to be generous. They're very generous. They have a very big heart. But we also have to learn how to listen. And that's a part that actually they need to know. To shrink our ego so we can listen. Now, what does it mean? If you are being honest, a lot of times when we talk to people, we let the desire to receive to ourselves alone to go in. So I listen because I have a benefit. I want something. I listen because maybe I'll get something from it. That's not real listening. That's not real listening. If we transform this ability to the desire to influence, to give, then we do the correction of this month. It's not just listening to others. We have an inner voice that is our neshama. Hashem talks to us through that inner voice. When we practice listening, we'll listen to our own inner voice too. I just talked about it that don't let your hearing be controlled by desire to receive, to self alone, and turn it. Oznaim in Hebrew, ears, are from the word izun, balance. Okay? So we want to have balance in our life. So once we do that transformation of really listening to someone just for listening to them, just to know what's bothering them, and try to be patient a little bit. Use it as tzedakah, really. You know, tzedakah is not just to give money. Tzedakah is when you listen to someone that really needs to talk with you for a few minutes, and to give him all your kindness for even 2 minutes. It's a big tzedakah. It's a big mitzvah. Shema Yisrael. You saw it was in the sentence of this month. Shema Yisrael. It starts with listen, Israel. And by the way, Israel is also the name of Yaakov. So the Zohar explains that when we say loud Shema Yisrael, we also wake the soul of Yaakov Avinu in heavens, and then we kind of open a channel of Israel down here and Israel up there. So this is really powerful. No Lashon Hara. Come on, that's the hardest, no? But look what the spies did to us. We have to fast and we have to suffer. So, you know, we want to kind of correct it and not to increase that. So that's really, really important. Don't forget that we are all like one big Sefer Torah. We are all like one big book of Torah. And when one letter is pasul, right, is not corrected, we are all affected by it. So to really reflect during this month on the power of tshuva. Tshuva, tashuv hey, is actually to return to the basic root of our own soul and help ourselves to correct what we made wrong. And by that, we are not just elevating ourselves, we're actually helping all of Am Yisrael. How do we start that? Hirhur belev shalem. Okay, so it starts with the heart. You don't have to tell anyone. You made a mistake, you were rude to someone, just sit with yourself for a second. Doesn't have to be yet a whole, just sit with yourself. So when you're thinking inside with a full heart on your tshuva, you're returning the letter of the shoresh nishmato, of the root of your soul, l'klal haTorah. So you're kind of correcting it, putting it back in the Torah. From the 15th of the month, the energy shifts. Before that, I want to just say, the 9 of Av, I don't think I need to talk too much about it, and I assume you know the rules, that it's a 25-hour fast. We don't learn Torah during that day because this is really considered the day of the Satan. It's a very negative day. It's the one day in the year that we didn't correct yet to the level that we can't even learn Torah. We can learn other things, but not... And we read the Megillat Eicha, the scroll of Eicha, but also the Joseph from Lublin, that's his Hilula. And the Ari says that the Mashiach will be born in the afternoon. Yeah, in the afternoon of the 9 of Av.
He was born.
To say will be also. Now, yeah, so it can be that he's going to be born on that day. It can be that he will get Eliyahu Navi will come and just put everything in that person that until that moment didn't even know he's the Mashiach. It can be in any miraculous way, but a lot of the tzaddikim, they would say on Tisha B'Av, Chag Sameach, because they want to connect to the energy of Mashiach and not to the energy of the destruction of the temple. And again, also the Joseph from Lublin, he passed away on that day. So he also gives us, he's a very big tzaddik, gives us another boost of light.
Also Keren there.
Yeah? So what happened on the 15th? We talked about the judgments that we kind of set for this time. On the 15th, it shifts to mercy. And we have Chag HaAhava, the holiday of love.
Yeah.
Yes, but in those days, what started in the physical level, that they celebrated it, didn't start what's happening in the universe during that time. Something very special is happening. But we know in the Torah that was the days that King Shaul decided that all the tribes can marry each other. And it was a big thing because the tribe, especially of Binyamin, they had a cherem. They were not allowed for a very long time to marry, and they started to shrink. And at one point it was either they are allowed to join in marriage other women from other tribes, or they're going to be eliminated. And King Shaul, that was from that tribe, he allowed them. And look at what the women did. So the Bnei Yisachar, Rabbi Tzvi Elimelech is saying it in his book. I'll read it in Hebrew and I'll translate. בנות ישראל יוצאות במחולות בכרמים ואומרות, בחור, שא עיניך וראה, I'm going to translate. הנה הבחורים רואים ושומעים מה הן אומרות, הכל הוא לתיקון עליון לכנסת ישראל. So the daughters of Israel going into the vineyards, dancing and saying, hey fellow, look at, come, raise your eyes and look. And here all the men are looking and hearing what they're saying. But all of that is to the higher tikkun of Knesset Israel. So what did they do here? They corrected the re'iyah, the seeing and the hearing. They used their voices, and their words and what they were doing, like going into the vineyard, to correct the same sin that the spies did and Chava. So they didn't finish everything, but this was really helping. That's it. If you have any questions, one last thing before what's happening in the sky on the same day of Chag HaAhava, of the holiday of Tu B'Av, is that the moon is in fullest. And it's the day that is considered the hottest day in the year, so the sun is strong. So it's like a perfect balance between the feminine and the masculine power of men and women. So that's why it's also, it was the right day for all this, marriage. It wasn't just like, oh, let's go and have a party. There was a reason why they chose that day. And until today, it's a very positive day. So positive that it helps us to really from that day to make everything more positive in the month of Av.